Alright everyone, it is confirmed, Hell Raids are coming to global very soon, and what I wanted to do today is share with you guys all the must-know information that you want to know ahead of time for when Hell Raids come out. And let's start off here with a quick rundown of the mechanics of the raid itself. And the good news is it functions very similar to the existing deathmatch difficulties that we already have. So of course you've got your boss battles, chapter 1 through 6 here, and then with the boss battles you have this percentage gauge, and as you go through each boss battle, it's going to fill up this percentage gauge. The higher that it fills up, the higher chance you're going to have in order to trigger a deathmatch. Now also, as an added bonus, if you do have the monthly subscription bundle, what's going to happen is it's just going to trigger the deathmatch after one boss battle. It's going to fill all the way up from 0 to 100% right away, so that's a bit of a perk for that. Either way though, it's going to trigger a deathmatch very similar to the existing difficulties that we have. Now the thing is though, when you actually go in, you're going to have 4 difficulties to choose from instead of just 3. The 3 difficulties we already have, of course, are normal, hard, and extreme. Now there is going to be the hell difficulty, and there is a big difference between the hell difficulty and the other 3 difficulties. And the first and most important thing that you want to be aware about this is that you can only actually use teams with a specific color of units for each of the 3 demons. So for Red Demon, you can only use a team that has blue units. For Gray Demon, you could only end up using a team that has green units. And for the Crimson Demon, you can only use a team that has red units. So obviously this is the biggest difference between Hell and the other 3 difficulties, normal, hard, and extreme. For normal, hard, and extreme, you can use whatever team you want with whatever color units, but for Hell, you cannot do that. So this is a really good time if you want to prepare ahead of time to go through and start figuring out for your teams here in the deathmatch setting. You know, maybe play around a little bit, see what units out of the units that you have to work with you think are going to work. And obviously nothing is going to be set in stone right now until the raids actually come out, but at least this gives you a little bit of time to prepare and cut down on that experimentation work once Hell Raids actually do come out. So something to be aware of. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is not just the actual restriction on the colors of units that you can use, but also the fact that there is a pretty big jump in the combat class requirement from the other 3 difficulties, normal, hard, and extreme, to Hell. You now need a 300,000 combat class requirement. This is, though, both your team and your friend's team, so either you need both of your teams at 150,000 each. If you have a little bit less combat class, then your friend's team's going to need a little bit more, and vice versa. If you have more combat class than your friend's team is going to need a little bit less. Either way, though, 300,000 is the magic number in order to make sure that you go first. So now is also not a bad time that if you guys feel like you're barely squeaking through on the combat class requirement for extreme raids, then you're definitely not going to have enough for Hell Raids. So make sure that you are caught up in all the different methods to increase units combat class. You know, basic things like limit breaking, leveling them up, awakening, all that sort of stuff. But another really big one is work on equipment. If you guys have the materials with all of the events going on right now that involve equipment, we've got the Gear Gacha event, of course, which doubles the chances of giving you SSRs from the Gear Gacha. We also have a salvage event going on at the same time. Really great time to start working on that. That is going to boost the combat class of your units by quite a bit as well. So try your very best with this in mind, that you can only use units of a certain color for each of the demons, and the fact that you're going to need 300,000 combat class for Hell Raids. Try to work as best as you can before the raids actually come out to eliminate some of the work that you're going to have to do afterwards so that you can try to just dive right into it. So next up on the list right here, though, is very important. Absolutely something that you want to keep in mind before Hell Raids come out, and this is really going to depend on your resources right now. And I bring this up because I think a lot of people, the answer to this question is going to be different. I don't think everybody is obviously going to be able to just say right away, yes, I'm going to go for the Valentine's units, because we have had a crazy ton of banners come out lately, especially the half anniversary Lost Vein Meliodas banner. I mean, a lot of people have been saving gems for this, a lot of people have spent gems for this, and now they are all of a sudden dropping a ton of new units. Now the thing is though, with the Valentine's units, it's really important to know whether you are going to go for them or not, because it's not just about the actual unit itself, you also have to consider their costume set, because the big bonus from the Valentine's units isn't actually the units themselves. Sure, they have a couple of uses, but they're not the most powerful units in the game. It really is about the bonus that they give you to the costume upgrade materials when you use that unit in your team for Hell Raids, as well as having their costume set equipped. So you need to actually pull the unit, you need to get the costume set. Hopefully Netmarble will throw some pieces at us for free instead of making us spend gems, because with all the new banners and then all the costumes that we would have to spend gems on with Lost Vein Meliodas, this is just so overwhelming, especially for free-to-play and low spenders. You really do want to have in mind, though, is this something that you want to go for, or is this something that maybe you're not going to? Because you don't want to get halfway through, realize that you got the units, but now you can't end up getting the costume set, because in that case, unfortunately, you're not going to end up getting the bonus. Now, the other important thing as well is you are going to have to use that unit in your actual Hell Raid team. So this means that you're going to have to work around them, you're going to have to evolve them, level them up, limit break them, work on their gear, do all that sort of stuff while still also meeting the 300,000 combat class requirement. And because these units, maybe they aren't considered to be the absolute best, you might have to work a little bit extra hard if you use these units in place of other good units in order to get their bonus. But this is all stuff that you do have to keep in mind, and I would definitely start planning on this right now. Alright, next up here is costume upgrades. So we know that with Hell Raids, of course, costume upgrades are going to be coming to the game. And with that, of course, what I would consider doing right now is starting to work through kind of like a priority list of what costumes you want to work on when Hell Raids do come out. And like I said in the video a couple of days ago, it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to take you a lot of work, a lot of Hell Raids, and a lot of grinding in order to get the materials, in order to upgrade all the costumes that you want. This is why it's important to have this priority list, because obviously you want to work on the most important costumes that you have first, and not waste resources on costumes that you don't feel like are going to give you and your account a lot of benefits. So great time to start working on that, whether that's maxing out the UR costumes that you already have, or whether that is working on taking the grade SSR costumes that you have to UR quality. And the last thing that I want to go over to prepare is something else that is really cool coming to the game, and that is finally we will have the option to actually be able to control which demon spawns for raids. Now, up until this point, we have not been able to do so. It has been random among the 3 demons that we have. However, with the New Year's units, they function pretty similar to the Valentine's units in the sense that we have 3 new New Year's units that will be coming to the game, and then with that unit, as well as their respective costume set, if you use them in a boss battle, then they will trigger a specific demon if they are in your team. So you want to ask yourself right now, is this something that you're going to want? Are you going to want control over what type of demon spawns happen for raids? And if this is the case, then that means that's something else that you're going to have to prepare for, which is why when I was talking about all the Valentine stuff, I mean, this really is going to be a very difficult update when it comes to gems, saving gems, and all that sort of stuff, because there's going to be 6 new units, but with these units, there's also going to be the costume sets that you need in order to use them properly as well. So this is all stuff that you really want to ask yourself right now before it actually comes out, because you want to prepare ahead of time, especially when it comes to what gems and resources you want to use and what ones you do not. So that's going to be about it for today, though. I have just thrown a ton of info at you guys in this video, so I'm going to leave it here for now. Maybe a part 2 or more expanded information coming very soon. But if you guys enjoyed and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to toss a quick like as well. It really does mean more than you can imagine, so thank you so much to all of you guys who decided to do that. And more Grand Cross Global videos should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to your right or below. More guides, tutorials, and fun videos just like this on the channel. Feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, have a great day, everyone. Take care. And this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.